Every breakthrough you want in sales starts with one thing, and that is belief. Not in your script, not in your offer, in you. And when you walk into a conversation fully sold on who you are and what value you bring to the table and to that offer, people feel it. They'll lean in. People will follow your certainty. But if you hesitate, if you use hedging language, you know what? In that moment, in that energy, there's a separation. It's that separation. It's your ability to command that gap between what you say and what they feel that separates top sales producers from everyone else. If you're ready to stop questioning yourself and start closing more, let's rebuild your self-belief from the inside out. The self-concept that you have, the belief that you hold about yourself, sets a ceiling for what you think is possible. You can want and wish, and many people do. But if your level of self-belief is below your level of what you're wanting and wishing for, you don't stand a chance. In the book Psycho-Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, who was a reconstructive plastic surgeon who could fix people from the outside and help them overcome their inferiority complexes, after he would do his surgery 2-3 years later, he would show the person that they were healed, that they looked beautiful on the outside, and yet they never developed that self-confidence. And see, what Maltz realized is that he had changed their outer image, but not the image that they were holding of themselves inside, their own self-belief. And in the book Psycho-Cybernetics, he said that people never outperform their self-image, the image they hold for themselves. If you look at how much money you earn, you'll notice that very rarely, if ever, does your income increase more than 10% in any given year. And you'll go year after year after year for decades, making small incremental changes. Why is that? Why is that when you can go into one company and one person is, producing at average results, and then somebody else comes in selling the same product, the same service, using the same script to the same market at the same price, and they blow everybody out of the water? Why is it that one person wins and other people lose? I'll tell you why. It's in their own self-belief. It's in how they see themselves. Sales doesn't just expose your mindset. It reflects it. It reflects what's going on inside. Not what you tell people you believe, but what you really believe in your heart of hearts. When I first started my very first business, I started with $200 and a dream. Now, I was a high school dropout, and I believed growing up, I had been programmed to believe that you never get ahead without a formal education. That if you don't do really well in school, you won't do really well in life. And I believed that, and I bought into that lie. And my results reflected it. After 3 or 4 years of working really hard from the age 22 to 25, all I had to show for it was about $20,000 a year, working about 10 hours a day. See, I had hit the lid of my own self-belief. I never thought that I could ever make $100,000. I never thought I would ever be able to get rich. I never thought anybody in the cleaning business could get rich. And what I didn't realize I was doing was that those self-beliefs, those beliefs that I bought into so powerfully, were sabotaging my efforts. They were sabotaging me in really subtle ways, in the way that I would conduct myself and the things that I would say, how I would show up and present myself. And people could feel that. When I began to reprogram what I believed about myself, when I started to really challenge some of the limiting beliefs that I held on to, my income started to rise and rise and rise. Again, in sales don't just expose your mindset. It reflects it in your results. And results don't lie. If you see yourself as someone who tries hard, but never quite breaks through, that's how I saw it. Guess what? Guess what you'll keep creating? You'll keep creating more and more struggle. You'll create more evidence of what it is that you believe. But the moment you decide to shift, the moment you begin to see yourself in a different light, the more you begin to buy into your value, you begin to see yourself as a difference maker. That, people aren't just buying into this offer. People aren't just buying into cleaning services. They're buying into me. They're buying into my belief about my company, about how I'm going to lead my people, how I'm going to service them. When you begin to change at that level, everything else begins to shift with it. All of your results begin to change. What you believe is what you feel. You can't deny that. You don't need to speak louder than other people in the room. What you need is a deeper level of self-certainty, a deeper level of self-commitment to excellence, and seeing yourself as a person who provides excellence. That whenever anybody does business with me, they will receive more value than they give me in cash. That whenever somebody works with me, they're going to get the very best results that they could have ever gotten. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that when somebody works with me, that I'm going to help them get better results than anybody else that they could go to. And I project that with my confidence and my certainty. And then I live into that commitment. I do whatever it is that's necessary. I will fight for my clients just to get one advantage in the marketplace. I'll do whatever it takes. Prospects don't follow your words. They follow your energy. It's your energy that causes people to follow you. You think of the movie Rocky, and you think of the movie, Rudy, and we can think of these as just kind of, inspirational, motivational films. But there's something really profound about that. There's a reason why people rally around those films. It's because there's an unspoken yet recognized truth that we all feel. We all feel it inside. We all feel that level of inspiration. We see and buy into Rocky's determination, into his grit, into his commitment, into his sacrifice. And see, when you're living your life and you're directing your energy at that level, providence sets in. It's like the universe begins to align for your highest good. See, energy doesn't lie. You can't fake it, especially when it's rooted in to purpose. When you back your intention with purpose, when you back your inspiration with purpose, when you link your thought with purpose, everything begins to change. Energy doesn't lie. When you fully believe in who you are, what you offer, and the impact it creates, your buyer feels it. Even before you ever make the ask. When you come in knowing that you are the difference maker in the deal. See, I knew when I was selling my services in my cleaning business, and I know when I'm selling my services as a coach and a mentor and a trainer, I know that anybody else could buy my content. And people have stolen my content. People have, copied my content, used my exact words in my own stories. And yet they don't get the results that I get. Why? Because it's not the words. It's not the tonality. It's the belief behind the words. See, I truly believe that I'm a difference maker. When I was selling my cleaning services, when you bought into my company, you were buying me. You were buying my commitment to excellence, my relentless pursuit of excellence. When somebody buys into my training, when they buy into me coaching, when I presence myself, when I'm doing a one-on-one, whether it's a vision retreat or it's a coaching session, I'm bringing every single thing, all of my life's experiences, and I'm pouring it into that one person to what their specific goal is. And I believe that me showing up and presencing myself in that way is going to make a difference. Otherwise, we don't take somebody on as a client. If I don't know that I could absolutely double somebody's income, if I know that I can't double their income, we don't take them on as a client. I only take on people that I know I can double their income, that I can help them move forward in the direction of their dream. And see, your buyer, your prospect feels that when you have that level of certainty. The inner voice that we have is the real objection that we need to overcome in a sales conversation. See, the truth is I could overcome any objection: time, money, price, validation, looking to get approval from the company or the spouse. Any one of those objections, that is kids' play. There was one objection, though. Man, I could never overcome. It was the one objection that would sink every single one of my sales. And it was this voice inside me that said, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? How are you going to do that? What makes you so special? See, it was the voice of my own self-doubt. It was this voice of self-sabotage. See, here's what I realized is that most sales aren't lost because of price or timing or competition. Most sales are lost because the salesperson silently agreed with the doubt in their own mind. Before they were walking into the deal, while they were in the deal, when they left the deal, people suffer from, we call it now, imposter syndrome. But what it really is it's a low level of self-belief, of low self-confidence. If a part of you still believes that, I'm not ready, I'm not enough. Here's one thing is when I'm working with people, particularly salespeople, I'll ask them, what are you an authority and an expert in? And immediately people begin to hedge. Well, I don't know that I'd call myself an authority. Well, I don't know that I'm really an expert. Why? Why aren't you an authority? Why aren't you an expert? See, what stops you from being the authority? What stops you from being the expert? You. The market doesn't stop you. Your competition doesn't stop you. The S&P 500 doesn't stop you. The president, the Congress, and nobody stops you. What stops you from being the authority? What stops you from being the expert? It's your own self-belief. And so if you have this part of you that says, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I'm not an expert, I'm not authority, you will unconsciously give permission for the buyer to believe the same thing about you, for them to feel that same way about you. Now, again, they may not state it out loud. They may not even be consciously aware of it. You'll leave the room and they'll look to the other people in the room and say, I don't know what it is. Something just wasn't right about him. You know what? She just didn't, I don't know. She just didn't have it. They can't put their finger on it. But their intuition picks up that there's something not right with you, that your energy's off, and they can feel it. See, the truth is with your own uncertainty in play, you're not just handling objections. You're creating objections in the mind of the buyer, in the buyer's mind. When you're asking, who am I? What makes me good enough? Can I really do it? You're giving permission for that buyer to think those same thoughts. And they do. See, now you know this. You may not know the power of knowing this, but there's been times where you've been in a conversation with somebody and you both say the same thing at the same time. And you kind of laugh it off as coincidence or out of the blue experience. There's nothing out of the blue experience about that at all. It's when your energy and the energy of the other people all align, positive or negative. See, we think it only happens for the positive. Oh, nay. It happens much more often for the negative. Because the negative is actually more powerful. It's certainly more prominent in our culture. So ask yourself, if your self-belief was the only thing that was standing between you and the close, would you buy from you? Like if you were to step outside of the sale and just watch the conversation and watch the dynamic, and you could extract your self-belief and put your self-belief on the table as part of the deal, as part of what that person was buying, would you buy that deal or not? I can tell you, when I first started, I wouldn't have bought from me. See, it is when you have this level of alignment and congruency inside yourself, that's what closes deals. It's not, see, I used to think that it was hard work. In the book, Think and Grow Rich, right in the very front part of the book, he says, if you're one of the poor souls that believe that hard work and honest work will bring you riches, he says, perish the thought. If you're one of the poor souls that believe that you can hustle your way, that you can work your way to the top, that if you just do honest work, if you just do good work in the right way, you'll get ahead. No, you won't. I'm sitting right now in my home studio. I live in one of the wealthiest zip codes in the United States. I'm blessed, and I've worked hard to be blessed. My house is about 7,000 square feet. It's 6 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms. It's It's an estate home. Now outside right now today, we're doing some renovations in my back. And there's some guys back there that are digging up trees and they're chipping away concrete and they're doing really hard work and they're doing honest work. But as long as they've got the pick and the shovel in their hand and their mentality is that they'll never be worth more than that. They'll stay stuck there and they'll never get ahead. You can't outwork your self-belief. You can't outwork your own limitation. You can't. I was killing myself in the cleaning business. I was doing honest work. I was doing what my grandmother said. Because my grandmother was one of those people that programmed me, just like Napoleon Hill talked about in Think and Grow Rich. If I worked hard and I did honest work, you'll get ahead. No, you won't. No, you won't. You can work really hard and you can do honest work and you can lose. And millions of people do every single day. It's the alignment in your own self-belief. It's the alignment in your own self-worth. See, much like those guys in my backyard right now who are chipping away concrete and digging up trees. I used to be one of them. Now, I wasn't doing that work. I was cleaning toilets in restaurants and bars late at night, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. One of the jobs that I had to do was put on a rubber glove and reach into the men's urinal and take out the bubble gum and take out the cigarette butts that people would throw in there. I used to go and take the big black mats behind the bar area that are just scummy and full of mold and everything that had dropped on the floor got all ground in there. And I'd have to drag those mats outside and clean them with ammonia and then put them back after I bleached the floor. It was hard work. It was honest work. And I was getting nowhere. But when I started to change, while I was doing that work, I started to reprogram my mind. Every time I would mop a floor and I would mop a square of tile, I would see myself mopping up money. I would see myself building a business. I would see myself owning the building that I was in one day. I would see myself having hundreds of people working for me in different buildings. That's when things began to change. I didn't work my way out of poverty. I thought my way out of poverty. See, you don't have to force the close. You don't have to be working the strategy of ABC, always be closing and trying to pressure people. When you are the close, like when you are the difference maker, when your belief and your self-certainty and your commitment to excellence and your belief that there is nobody who's going to outserve your client than you. There's nobody who's going to provide them more than you. There's nobody who's going to go the extra mile more than you. You become the closing factor. You see, when I work with people, there's lots of people who do my kind of work, and maybe they offer one-on-one training. And what most of people do is they offer one-on-one training. They do a Zoom call with them. That's one-on-one, not me. I have people fly in, have dinner at my house with my family, stay in my house, wake up in the morning, have breakfast with me and my kids, have coffee in the morning, and then we have our one-on-one time. Nobody else does that. You know why I do it? Because I want the connection. I want the connection. There's something magical that happens at those dinners and that breakfast. There's a connection. It allows us to trust each other. It allows us to understand each other. It allows them to get to see me beyond just kind of their own image of who I am. It allows them to meet my children, to see that the words that I say and the images that I project on camera and in the videos that we use for marketing, that it's real. And then because they have that level of belief, that next day when I'm working with them, they open up more. They trust me more. They're willing to take more risks. And we can leverage that discretionary goodwill, the you factor, that you are the difference maker. See, you don't need to force a close when your force is the close. When your identity and your offer are in alignment, you move from convincing mode to attracting mode. You move from pressuring to just allowing. I mean, my posture is, look, I would love for you to do business with my firm. I would love for you to buy our sales program. I would love for you to hire me to coach you and mentor you. Take your script, listen to your pitch, and I know with 100% certainty, if I had 1 hour with you, just 1 hour with you, I would change your results. No doubt about it. Absolutely. And I don't care what you're selling. I know I can do that. I have that level of self-belief. And when you have that level of self-belief, I don't need to convince you. My posture is I would love to do business with you, but I don't need to do business with you. The Martinelli family, we're going to be okay whether you buy my program or not. Now, I'd love to help you, and I believe I can help you, and I want to help you. But I'm not going to convince you. I'm not going to drag you, because if I have to convince you to buy, then I have to convince you to watch the videos. Then I got to convince you to show up. Then I got to convince you to try it. I'm convinced of one thing, and that is that I can't convince people of anything. That if I have to convince you, then I'm going to have to follow you around and convince you all the way. See, what I'm looking for is people who really want more in their life and who are willing to take themselves on when they realize it's not tactics, it's not strategy, it's not scripting, it's not pitch, it's me. It's me. Now, all of those things matter, and all of those things can absolutely help you get better results. But it does no good to learn all of those tactics and all of those skills if the same old person who believes that they are not good enough and not worthy of what it is they want and can never be a top performer and don't see themselves as an authority and don't see themselves as an expert is the one who's projecting and executing on those strategies and tactics. See, this is the difference between pressure and rapport. One pushes and the other allows. One pulls and tries to drag, and the other just allows it to happen, allows the natural unfoldment to occur. You're no longer chasing clients anymore. You're meeting them in the moment because you're prepared for that moment. That moment could happen anywhere. It can happen anywhere. It can happen at a line in Starbucks. It could happen in the grocery store. It could happen at a cocktail party, because you don't need to run and go put your cape on to become the superhero. You are the superhero. See, for many people, we have to kind of reinvent ourselves. This ability to reinvent ourselves, to really challenge what we believe, may be the greatest sales skill. Confidence isn't a gift that you either have or you don't have. It's like faith. In the Bible, it says everybody has the same measure of faith, that you have the same measure of faith that I do. And that the faith that you have, the measure of faith that you have, and the measure of faith that I have can move a mountain. That's how powerful your faith is. The question is do you develop that faith? See, you have the same level of self-confidence as I do. The question is have you developed it? Have you built it? Repetition by repetition, call after call, belief by belief, by really challenging yourself, by really taking yourself on, by really committing to your own growth, to recognizing that you are the difference maker. And every time you show up as the person that you're becoming, not the person that you were in the past. Every time you show up in the full presence of awareness that you are the difference maker, you install this new belief system. And every time you lean into it with certainty, even when you're scared, even when you're filled with doubt, you begin to shift what's possible for the next time. You fortify your faith. And then we stand in the direction of our faith. See, sales is personal growth. It's personal development at full speed, at top volume. And the repetitions that you put in, the practice that you put in today, the effort that you put in today, rewriting what it is that you believe about yourself shows up in your tomorrow. It really does. This isn't about you becoming someone else. It's about you becoming all of who you already are, but without hesitation, without apology, without waiting for other people to validate you. See, the moment you change your self-concept, everything changes. Now, it doesn't happen overnight, and you don't expect it to, but it happens in a sequence, in a very orderly sequence. One call starts to feel different. Then a conversation goes a little bit better than it ever did. And then all of a sudden you realize, I felt a lot more confident there. You begin to outperform what your own self-expectation was. Like, whoa, I did better than I even thought I could do. And then you surprise yourself. You say something that like you had never said before, but it sounded like, boom, this new version of you. You handled this objection just like perfectly, like a master. And all of a sudden, the version of you who you've been trying to become, all of a sudden shows up. That's not an accident. That's not a fluke, some kind of fluke. That's an alignment. This is your identity. And that's exactly what you've just started to build just by watching this video. Just by entertaining this new idea. Just by watching this. Now, before we go any further, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to download a free guide that I created for you. It's called the Self-Concept Scoreboard, the Self-Concept Scoreboard, and it will show you clearly where your level of self-belief is aligned with your purpose and where you may be leaking energy. Now, this isn't just some motivational worksheet. It's a tool for you that's going to mirror back to you where you really are. Like, not in what you say, but where you are in your thought. Like, where are you in your thought life? What level of awareness are you operating at? See, you'll walk away knowing exactly what's driving your behavior, what's getting you the results that you have, and what's dragging them down. Now, the link is in the description below. Download it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to come right back to this video. When you can assess yourself, when you can really look at yourself honestly, this is where results are created. Everything is created twice. Everything you see in your physical world, the computer or the phone that you're watching at, started as an idea. The clothes you're wearing, the chair you're sitting in, everything you see in your physical world was created twice. And so are your results. They first start as an idea, as a belief. And once you've completed this, and you begin to fortify your faith, then all of a sudden you're ready. You're ready to make the next shift. As soon as this video is done, I want you to go and I want you to watch the video that's titled 10 Steps That'll Turn You Into a Sales Machine. Because the identifier of the work that you need to do starts now. And there's 10 steps to creating this belief inside yourself. And that's the foundation for your belief upgrade. I promise, if you'll take this assessment that I'm asking you to download now, if you'll watch this next video, you follow these 10 steps, it won't be long. It won't be long. 60, 90 days from now, all of a sudden, you're going to begin to see different results. You're going to start to feel differently. I'll see you in the next video.